Good evening and welcome to another edition of NNPA and Black Press USA's Fire. That's right, we have hot guests, hot topics, and today we have two really special people. Well, it's going to be one of two anyway. Yes, you know, the DMV's own Kenny Lattimore. He is joining us all the way from the West Coast because, yes, hey, how are you?
Hey.
Look at the sun over there.
Oh, yes. It's been great out here.
Over there. Well, we want to start off right away because you and your wife, Judge Faith Jenkins, have been doing a lot since you left from the West Coast to head to the East Coast to head to the West Coast. And she was going to be here today, but there's some changes in her schedule. So
yes. Oh, unfortunately, because I know she would love to talk to you all. And we had been doing interviews all the way up to this week. And now we're getting very close to our schedule also for the virtual show. So just in case you all don't know, I guess we should go back to the top. Around 2 months ago, Faith and I were sitting and just having a conversation because I had a Christmas virtual show that I did. And she was thinking about all of the people that had come on to the divorce court and the types of issues and things that couples were dealing with. And she said, you know what, it would be really great if maybe we did something together for Valentine's Day. And but it can't just be for couples. It needs to be for people in general, a celebration of love. So we start going through different types of ideas about it. And we settled on an idea called An Evening of Love with Kenny and Faith, or Faith and Kenny. And so it will be a conversation and a concert. I'm bringing my live band, and we're going to talk about some of the wedding things that people don't know, you know, some small details about our story. But we're also going to, in general, just talk about love and what makes relationships strong. And we're going to do this as a journey of love through music, if you will. So we're real excited about it. The preparations for this have been different.
I'm sure.
And
In the
a
middle
lot
of
of that is
COVID,
because of it. In the middle of COVID, one. So we have people that are literally on their way to the studio now, and they have to be tested, rapid tested. So we have the nurse, because we both are SAG. So SAG is the union people. So what happens when you are part of the union, you try at least to adhere to all of the union rules and things that make your set safe.
Right.
It's really not we consider it mandatory, but it's not like a prerequisite where we cannot tape without it. But again, because we want everybody to be safe, we've chosen to do it this way because the virtual space is still getting mapped out.
Yes.
You know, it's not really very clear and cut in terms of what the rules are, if you will. I think the rules are being established, and no sooner than those rules are established, I'm hoping this thing will be over.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
But so thank you for having me on your show. I love what you're doing, and I really appreciate you. And again, we apologize to anybody that is watching this who was like, oh my God, I wanted to hear the both of them, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just me. But I promise you my heart, I understand Judge Faith's heart and what she, some of at least what she would say and want to give to you all. And I hope that you can join us when we do our virtual show tomorrow.
So listen, now, I love the fact that you titled it An Evening of Love. I love the fact that so many people are eager really to see you and Faith together. They're watching her in the divorce court. She's the new host of it. I've seen the commercials. So cute. So cute. It's such a serious topic, but and obviously she takes it very seriously, but just how the commercials are, it just makes you smile and you're like, I'm gonna check this out. So I can just imagine the weight of having to do that with couples for one reason or another, figuring out that it's not working out, and for you guys to choose to do love. And it really seems to be the mantra for 2021, just positivity and love. So what can we expect? You told us a little bit. You're going to go into your story, so I won't ask you to tell us about how you two met. But I do want you to know. Everybody wants to know.
Well, no, I can tell you that part. I can tell you that.
Okay.
We have a very good friend who is a producer and extraordinaire. He produced my Christmas album, and he produced "Stay on Your Mind" for my Vulnerable CD. His name is Aaron Lindsay. And Aaron and I were talking one day. This is just my side of it, of course. I
Sure.
remember him calling me and saying, you know what, music for me is such a unique kind of experience. And I feel music and sound waves. Okay, let me try to explain that a little more. There are people who have said that when they listen to music, they see colors. I wish I
Oh,
was that. That just sounds interesting to me, but I don't see colors. And
wow.
there are people who see waves and see different things, but these people are so talented and so well versed in music that they're able to interpret and feel music almost at a different capacity. So he told me one day, he said, I was talking to this young lady, Faith, and I was doing some kind of, I think what he did was he was an expert witness, that's what it was, on her television
Okay.
show, Judge Faith,
Okay.
which ran for like 4 years, successful judge show. And he said, I felt like when she was speaking that her wave was the same as yours.
What?
And I was like, wow, that's like a sound. So it's almost like if you've ever been in a recording studio, a sound wave is made when you speak, like if you use Pro Tools or one of the programs
Yes,
or Logic is another, and when you begin to speak, you see the sound wave.
exactly.
So he's so in tune with that he was like, oh my gosh, when I was speaking to her, her wave was the same sound wave as yours, or your sound wave was very much alike. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. He said, would you be interested in meeting her? And I was so open because I had spent some time doing some work on Kenny,
Okay.
making sure that I was whole. I was in a place of health, that I felt like I had something to give, that I could be in a relationship. And so I was completely open. Yeah, let's go. And so we did meet and had a great conversation and became friends, and the relationship just grew from there quietly too.
Sure.
We were not on social media talking
Isn't
about,
that
oh,
the
guess
best
who I'm
though?
dating? Guess
Right.
who
Isn't
I'm
that
dating?
the
Yeah.
best?
It really is. It really is, because so many opinions and things come at us in, I guess, in the Hollywood space in particular, as people try to figure out whether your relationship is authentic,
Mm.
because people get into relationships for maybe for other types of gain, for publicity, just so many things going on in Hollywood that I've never been a part of. I don't care what anybody says, I've never been a part of it. And so that's interesting, just navigating the space of social media and being in the public eye is its own animal. So we decided, how about we just leave all of them out of it, and let's do us, and let's
Well,
create an authentic foundation, and then from there, we'll see what happens. And it just grew into where we're Mr. and Mrs. Lattimore right
well, again,
now. So
congratulations on you both deciding on what it is that you want your outcome to be. And it's so, social media is involved with every aspect of people's lives, even those who don't want to
I
be a part of
know,
it.
right?
So
Yeah,
how
yeah,
strong of you two to decide, you know what, let us go through it. Relationships by themselves are tough,
yeah.
but to
Are tough
have
enough. Yeah,
10, 20 million people weighing in on things they don't have all the details to can
yeah.
make
They
it
have
really
no
tough.
clue what they're
No
talking about,
clue.
and
No clue.
oh gosh, it's so funny how many people want a voice in your life, and they begin to try to manufacture when they knew you, when your last
Mm.
conversation was, who else they knew that was around you, what you acted like, what any little experience that they've had. People try to weigh in, and it's hilarious. It really is. We laugh at a lot of it.
Well, it's nothing like somebody finding a best friend, which is what it sounded like you first had with Faith, and then
Yeah.
finding a lifelong companion. So
Oh
again, I
my
have
gosh.
to
Yeah.
reiterate, congratulations to you. I have
Thank
a
you.
best friend. Her and her husband are
Mhm.
celebrating, oh, she's going to get me 26, 27 years of marriage. So yeah,
Wow.
right out of house,
I
out of
love it.
house, high school.
High
So
school. Mhm.
yeah, and they got married on the 14th. So that is a very
Oh,
special day. So
very nice.
um, tomorrow. So is it 2 days or one day?
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go live on Friday night on the
Okay.
12th. It will be 6 p.m. Pacific Coast time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And after you go live, we realize that, wow, in this virtual space, it feels like it goes by so quick. What would really add value to, what we're doing. And that is, let it be a video on demand throughout the entire weekend.
I
So
love it.
some people may not be able to attend the live on the spot, but you can still get a ticket, and it's just a link that you can watch through the weekend. So you can create a date night on Saturday night or on the 14th and still have an evening of love with us. And I think it's going to set up your Valentine's weekend really nicely.
And so, Kenny, for couples that may be not in the same space as far as the same state, they can sit together and watch it, and wherever they are, and take part in it, right? No mask necessary, right? Hello, Hazel. Thanks for checking in. So you are listening now to Faya here on NNPA and Black Press USA. You are seeing one half of a two-part team. This is Kenny Lattimore, yes, singer, songwriter, and newlywed. I'm still saying newlywed. I know you guys have some a month under your belt.
I think we'll be newlyweds for at least another year.
Okay, good.
And love you back, Shirley McCants.
Oh, wow. Okay, Shirley checking in. And his beautiful wife, Judge Faith Jenkins. Their schedule's really, really hectic. So he has apologized on her behalf that she's not able to be here, but they're going to be there tomorrow live. You guys can all take part.
She is preparing, because the one thing when, I'm really funny about when people are spending their time and money on any product or anything that's connected to my brand. And we are just very careful about making sure that every detail of what we're doing tomorrow is together. So Faith is the detailed one. She is the best in terms of details. So she's taking care of things to make sure that our virtual is going to be amazing for you. And I said, you know what, but we cannot miss the interview with Taylor. So I will definitely do that. So I hope that you understand that, and we are one. So I hope that you're okay with that right now. And hopefully you'll join us tomorrow, and you'll see the product and the blossoming of this virtual experience.
I just think it's exciting. Winston Cheney, shout out to you.
Oh,
he was just saying hello. He's like, hello to you. And, from the DMV here.
You? Wow. Yes.
So listen, putting on a production like this in the middle of a pandemic, it is the first time that you're doing it together. She's on TV. Yes. You're all across the country, all across the world, performing. But this has got to be something different. You guys are doing something together. It's not her looking at legal briefs. So what type of preparation did it take to kind of get you to be ready for tomorrow?
It is very interesting. We have to understand each other's world, if you will.
Yeah.
So I had an opportunity, I guess we can come back to this, but I had an opportunity to be a part of divorce court a couple months ago, and it aired just this past last week. My episode, I had a 2-part episode that aired. So I got a chance to not only be her husband. I travel with her during the beginning of the season and all of that, and getting it started, but to be a guest and add my commentary to the show is very interesting, because it's difficult. I didn't realize how difficult it was. And I'm thinking, gosh, you're doing this over and over and over again. And you're actually able to give people amazing words of advice. Fortunately, the case was set up where the gentleman I was speaking to was an up and coming or aspiring musician. So I have lots of things I can, dump on him. But when you're in television time, you can't just ramble on about things. You got to still kind of, hit the nail on the head. And so we flipped it again. During Valentine's Day, I would normally do a concert anyway. So this gives her a chance to become to be a part of my world. But what we did in preparation for it is we said, hey, what are your strengths? What would you like to bring to the table? And we know, again, it's that advice, it's that conversation. So she was like, I can just do that. And she can just be herself in the space. And what I do is just, we have a producer that came in. His name is Lattimore Whitfield Films out of Dallas, Texas. And we said, Lattimore, what we want you to do is help us to navigate that space so that it has enough time to have some fun and have those moments and it not overlap. We need somebody to help us to smoothly make the transitions in and out of what we do, because they complement each other very well. And I know I run my mouth on the stage, so and I talk about my experiences. Oh yeah, blah 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 with my. So I won't, I'll do a little bit of that, but I think she will give a lot more of that substance during the evening of love.
Well, Kenny, that's why we love you, because you are so open, and you don't have to be. You are a performer, and you give your all, and I think that's what makes people just continue to gravitate to you. You don't say things because it's just to make things right for the moment. It seems like it's something of who you are, and that's why people love hearing from you. So don't think you're ever rambling on. There's just a lot of people that need to hear really what you have to say. And your songs, we can go down the list. It just makes people smile. It makes them think about happy days. It makes them think about finding that right person. And this is even before you brought your beautiful wife, into the public eye with you personally. So we're excited to hear.
I've always had very strong ideals about relationships and what love should be.
Okay.
Some people may have called it idealistic. It probably is. But if you stick to what your ideals are and they become core values, and you list your core values, because there was a time when I think for my companies and my corporations and business, it's like, oh yes, these are our core values, blah, 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 blah. I could make that list. It was very easy. But one day I was reading a book by a friend of mine named Monica Koss. It's called The Things I Used to Do to Make Myself Sneeze, or something like that.
Okay.
The Things I Used to Do to Make Myself Sneeze. I know it's a long title. But what that was about was Monica was saying she enjoyed the sensation of sneezing. It was something about it, whatever physically happens. So she would do things to make herself sneeze, which were not authentic, if you would. It wasn't the things that normally make you sneeze. So she used that as a way to tell a story about living an authentic life. Yeah. And part of living an authentic life is knowing your own personal core values. And I was like, I never thought about me personally having core values, but who am I? What are the things that are important to me? Trust, honor, family. I start listing these things out. And after you have that list, you kind of have something to at least be your foundation and go by when you're dating or meeting somebody. You can say, hey, is this important to you? Because if they say no, it's like, check. Okay, there's something that's right. One thing that we're not in agreement about. Okay, well, we'd have to work on, or could be conflict down the road. And as you keep going down that list, you're not only setting yourself up, I think, for a success in a relationship, but you're really defining who you are. And it's a trip to kind of sit back and look at that list and say, do I like my core values? Do I like where I've been focused all these years? I had to do that kind of examination before I met Faith in order to know that I was in a place where I could even communicate truthfully. Because I did an interview some time back, and they asked me, I said, what would you do differently in this marriage? And I said, well, from who you've been over the years. And I said, I just would make sure that I communicated authentically, because I was also a person who, because I'm a peaceful person, I think there were times when I would squash my own emotion, thinking, okay, let me just put me aside and let this minister to my friend or my wife or my sister or whoever, you're dealing with in terms of communication, your boss, whoever. It's like, okay, I'm not going to tell them how I really feel, because I want to keep peace. And what I realized is that was a false peace. It was a false peace I was creating, because I was becoming a non-person in relationship, instead of being like, no, actually, I don't like green beans. It's so simple, to be able to say, right. Oh, no, this is not really who I am. It has nothing to do with who you are. That's not what I prefer. And it's okay. Those may seem like really small kinds of details, but they add up over time. And yes, these are things I've learned so that I'm always bringing my best self if I can. That's my goal. Bring my best self to my relationship every single day.
I have to do a snapshot of this particular part of the interview for my teenage daughter, because it's so funny listening to you, and it's not about relationships, but with my daughter, I explained to her about the importance of, no, don't not say something.
Yes.
Express yourself, because I think if you learn around your friends and your family to keep things down, and there's appropriate things. You
Oh,
and I are not
absolutely.
talking about that, but I'm just
Right.
talking about where you just talked about, oh yeah, I'll just say I like it. So, I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But I think being honest is just a great thing, instead of waiting a year or 6 months down the road and giving this long list. And they're like, so all the time I've been doing this, you didn't like, or you didn't.
You
So
hated it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is an exciting thing. I think COVID has caused a lot of us to look and do self-evaluations.
Yeah.
And I think just like we do with our credit and our bank account, we should be checking that up. And with our 401(b), I think we should do a check-in every now and then. Are we being as considerate and thoughtful for ourselves and for others?
Yeah.
But COVID, in these confined spaces, have really caused us all to think about really how we treat ourselves and how we treat others. And I know from the guests that I've had on here, just realizing, one, how blessed they are, whether they have monetary things or not, just how lucky they are to have their health and have their family, or whether it's one friend or your husband or your wife. So I think it's really great that you're able to talk about having yourself together. And it's really hard to find a mate if you yourself are not happy with you. Right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because a lot of people think that when I get married, that person's going to make me happy. And it's like, no, hopefully you're bringing happiness to the relationship yourself.
That's right.
Because then you don't make the other person happy, and you become a weight to someone if you want them to pull you up. What you want to be able to do is you want to elevate someone because you already feel elevated. And if you do that, it makes for an easier relationship, a lighter relationship, instead of carrying heaviness,
And Kenny, I have to think there's got to be difficult for you, and I mean you as an artist, to find somebody now that it's over. I know you're probably like, thank goodness, but just think about that. How do you meet somebody and go through knowing if they are genuine? Right.
That is a good question, and it is a process, because I dated a lot leading up to this point. And I did it, again, very quietly. I did not put a lot of women on display. And I'm a father. So I'm not the type of person, I'm not the guy who's the alpha male that wants to teach my son that having a lot of women is what being a man is. I don't believe in that. So I didn't want him to see me running through a lot of it. He met one or two women that I dated. And when Faith came, though, it was different. He knew. I presented her to him differently. I'm not about inserting folk, in our lives, just because they're there with me as friends in the moment as we're getting to know each other. We had to be on a path to something committed for me to really have my son involved. And I think it's just so important in terms of meeting people that they get to see the real. I don't know. I try to talk from a standpoint that is just really super transparent out the gate. Sometimes that shocks people because they're feeling like, oh wow, he's not putting up the front that he's perfect and everything is nope. Yeah, this is some areas that I made some mistakes, and this is some areas that I think I did great. Or, whatever my conversation is, what I've heard is that the truthfulness of it was more endearing than me just presenting myself as, oh, but I'm Kenny Lattimore, so let's talk about me. Yeah, let's talk. That is the other piece. I don't take over the entire conversation to just talk about let's talk about my music, or let's talk about it. It's like, no, if you want to get to know the person, we talk about family, we talk about God, we talk about faith, we talk about strengths and fears. I don't really even think I have a lot of fears. We talk about heartbreak, though. You talk about things that are just human, that everyone's going to go through and how they've navigated it. And you try to speak in a healthy place and a safe place. And when you've created that healthy environment, I think for any man, oh boy, we're good after that. But it is this thing that we feel like we have to present ourselves as strong and great at all times, or we lose some of our masculine points. So, I think that happens all the time. So, but if as a woman, and I don't know how it happens for everybody, but women have a particular way, I think, that sometimes they can make us feel safe.
Yes,
You
we
can
do.
make us feel safe. You can make
We're
us
the
feel safe.
bomb.
And when we feel safe, we're like, whoa, I can
Yep.
say this to her.
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm being torn apart or emasculated because I'm sharing this part of my life with her. Oh, when you get there, whoo, it's over in a good way.
So tell us about Faith. Where is she from?
Uninhibited. Faith is from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh.
So I have a Southern girl.
Does she like to cook?
She cooks well, and I have been enjoying the cooking, particularly during COVID-19's quarantines, because we got married, and literally 5 days later, it was like the entire world shut down. And she jokes about having a number of recipes. When we first got married, she was like, "Yo, I got about 9 recipes that I can kind of circulate, and it'd be interesting, and all that." And because we probably will only be together because of his travel and all of that, X amount of days. So she's adding it up. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, every single day you're together 24/7 for months.
Yes.
And cooking became a huge thing. It became, one of our, a lot of times people talk about families sitting down doing dinner together. So I guess the cooking part and the sitting down to dinner together became extremely foundational, because we were learning so much more about each other and so much more conversation than we would have ever had. We probably spent 2 years worth of time together.
Wow.
In 6 months,
So do you like to cook? So do you cook with her, or on occasion?
I chop.
I'm glad.
Occasionally I'll cook.
I chop. Okay.
But you know what it does? It puts us in the kitchen together. It can be sort of romantic, get your little bottle of wine and some music going and all that, and you have conversation while you're preparing a meal. It has a different kind of romantic feel to it. I think it kind of sets a mood for the evening that is just laid back. And again, you feel safe. It's something about doing something creative together that puts you in a safe space. And from there, it can go anywhere. But I think that cooking together is a romantic gesture.
Did you get an opportunity to do any honeymoon time, or not yet?
Oh, no, we did. Immediately, when we went away, but we just took like a quick one, like a mini honeymoon.
Good. I'm glad you guys got to get away.
Absolutely. Just to make sure that we did relax, because
That's
the
great.
wedding itself was a lot. A wedding's a big party. You're really throwing it, not just for yourself, but for all your friends and family as they celebrate you. And we definitely had a amazing wedding. It was my first wedding, in the church and all of that, where it was surreal in a way. It was like I was living a dream out, and I had no idea that I would feel the way that I felt. But it was like I was living a dream.
So what's a day in the life with Kenny and Faith in the middle of COVID right now? What's your day like? Yeah. How's it start off?
Wow.
Do you get up at 3:30 in the morning, or are you guys late dayers?
I'm the sleeper. I am definitely the sleeper, being a musician. I'm usually up late nights. But what's interesting? Faith is the early riser.
Okay.
And because we have also both lived individually, for a number of years, what we try to do is respect that individuality as well. Just because we're married doesn't mean, okay, everything's going to be different and everything's going to change. And I want you to do this. And it becomes, let me give you space to do kind of, the things that you enjoy doing prior to us being together. And then I, it's gratefully wake up later. And as a result, I kind of ease my way into the day. So we'll talk about what's going on. She'll check in with the news, and she kind of gives me updates to all kind of things that's going on in the world. And that becomes a part of our early conversation. And we'll eat some breakfast, or she has to work on her book, or things with divorce court. She does that. If I have meetings, we kind of shift off. My son is in high school.
Oh, wow.
And with his last year, he's getting ready to, for college. So my days are filled with talking to counselors and teachers. It's sending emails and things, and then it might be some bill paying or whatever. So a day like is probably just like everybody else.
Wow.
We each have an office in our home,
Mm-hmm.
and so that our businesses are also respected. Because I never wanted her to feel like, even though we're one as a couple, that your business is swallowed in mine. I still have a ton of people and vendors that work for me that their privacy is relevant. And so she's not, all through my files and all through my, we still have individual business. And then we have things that we work on together, like this in Evening of Love.
Yes, tomorrow.
So it's like, who do we need to talk to today? We do our planning together, we think about things that we can do to enhance people's lives. We're in the business of building people. And we have conversation about that. I love it. We have vision conversations. What can we do next? We go into brainstorm about television shows. She is a television mogul. She's creating television shows. So she has included me as a part of that, and I'm learning and actually becoming kind of fond of the whole television scene. It's pretty cool.
It is a lot of fun. So an Evening of Love, for those that are just tuning in to Fire here on NNPA and Black Press USA, it is a collaboration with singer, songwriter Kenny Lattimore and his incredible, beautiful, talented wife, Judge Faith Jenkins. It'll be tomorrow. I'm going to let you give the details again for those who may just be connecting and seeing the program now.
Yep. Please go to KennyLattimore.com or to JudgeFaithJenkins.com. All of the details are right there on our website. You don't have to go and search out some other name for a ticket or what have you. Just go to KennyLattimore.com or JudgeFaithJenkins.com. It's going to pop up an Evening of Love, and all you got to do is a few clicks, and you can join us. A link will be sent to you, and you will be able to not only see the live experience tomorrow, but you will also be able to watch the show throughout the entire Valentine's weekend.
How long is the show?
You know what? I think it's running about an hour and a half or hour 45. But to tell you the truth,
that's great.
When you get into real time, you never know. It definitely won't be shorter.
Well, good. So go ahead and make plans right now to get your steak or your seafood or your vegetables together, your chocolate dipped strawberries to sit wherever you can watch, whether it's streaming or
give yourself some dancing room. We got a DJ that's opening. We have a DJ that's opening up, and he's gonna get you warmed up and everything before we get into the conversation. We're playing. It's like, for all of you who are wondering, what am I going to do? What can I do during Valentine's Day? We're all still semi-trapped inside. Restaurants are going to be totally crowded because they can't operate at full capacity.
That's correct.
This is going to be a great moment for you to just do something creative yourself with your atmosphere and with your home or what have you. And again, no mask necessary. Just come and enjoy the Valentine's Day weekend with us.
Kenny, do you have to? I know you said sign up, so you make sure you sign up, and then a link will be sent to you, and you sit there and just watch it. And then you also said, if for some reason you can't see it live tomorrow, it's going to be on demand. How great is that?
Yeah. How hard is it?
How great is that? That's wonderful. So you made it for everybody. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, how hard is that? Like, so easy. You just click. So we're saying the same thing. So using the opposite words, we're saying the same thing. But I think it is. It's one of the greatest things. I cannot wait for you to hear Faith, though.
I can't wait to either. And we're going to bring her on the show when your schedules kind of slow down a little bit, because I can't wait to meet her. But I want to let you know, I'm looking down because I got a text. So Tasha from Bowie wants to know, how did you propose to Faith?
Oh man! Wow. Okay, I have to tell you this story. And oh gosh, I'm forgetting one thing. We're also in partnership with Black Bride Magazine. So Black Bride Magazine is helping to spread the word about this as well. Okay. So let's talk about this great Black bride. How did I propose? We were talking about doing some pictures together one day because we had dated a while, and it was like, yeah, it's almost that time. But we were like, yeah, we've never taken any pictures together. She absolutely loves New York. I love New York, and we wanted to go to Central Park, and we wanted to just hang out one time. And we were like, you know what? Well, she suggested. She said, you know what? Let's do a photo shoot while we're there, just so we just have some pictures to memorialize this time in our lives. And I was like, oh, okay, that'd be great. So the closer the date got, I was like, how can I surprise her where she would, really be taken off guard for me proposing? If I wait until, the holidays come or whatever, certain things become cliche.
Sure.
Or they become things that people are looking for. So I said, you know what if I proposed to her in Central Park during the photo shoot that she set up, that I had nothing to do with.
Right.
So I decided I would do that. But interesting enough, I had a friend call me and say, hi, I'm working on some video stuff. Can I videotape you guys for something? And I was like,
okay, it's all lining up.
They started lining up. But then I was like, is this too good? Like, is she going to figure it out if I tell her this? So I told her, I said, okay, I know how to play it. So I called her up. I said, Faith, you will never guess. The photo shoot that you want to do, that you have planned, that you put it. There's a guy that would love to do a video, and I'm going to leave it up to you if you want to do it. You don't have to, but if you want to do it, give him a call, because he said he would shoot some video of us.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So it turns into a video shoot. So we go down to Central Park. We start doing the video shoot. Little does she know, I flew into town one of my best friends that she did not know yet, because I was like, who can I bring in? I couldn't bring in my good friend James Chaney, because she already knew James Chaney. I couldn't bring in my buddy Mark. She knew so many people. But I was like, oh, I've got a buddy named Jamel. He can come in. He flew him in from Oklahoma. He comes up to us like a stranger in the park. And he just starts talking to us. He actually prays with us and talks about how amazing, oh, y'all are so beautiful as a couple. Men, me and my wife, we got to do a video or something like this, and blah, blah. He goes on and on. Quite an actor. I didn't know he was I was like, brother, you are doing me proud right now. And he had the ring. So, it was at a moment I looked at her and I just said, oh
my God,
this is like really perfect. If only I had the ring. And in hindsight, she says, at that moment, she goes to herself, yeah, that would have been so good if you had the ring. And I held my hand out, and the stranger gives me my ring.
No. Are you kidding me, Kenny?
And she's crying, and I'm nervous as all get out. Whereas it's so funny. I was talking about this the other day. Why did I get nervous? But I think it was because everything was so perfect. Mm. And I think I wanted everything else to be that fairy tale. I wanted it to be wrapped in a bow for her. And it just made me so nervous. I was like, and then there was this lady, I remember, like in the back in New York, going, did she say yes? Did she say yes? And I was like, only in New York,
Oh my God.
But yes, she said yes. And it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Now, even on top of that, how about she was taking me to meet some of her friends that evening.
What?
So, and I had never met. So of course that evening became a little engagement party. It's perfect.
I love the story. So talk to me, your answer. I love that story.
Thank you.
That is really, really, really neat. That is.
And then we have it on videotape. Hey.
Yes. That is exciting. So are you going to show any glimmer of that tomorrow for an evening of love?
You know what? I think we're going to get into the wedding. Because
okay, great.
So many people, you saw a few pictures from the wedding, but we'll talk about the wedding a little bit more. And we're showing some of well, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to tell it all. Yeah, we're gonna share pieces of the wedding.
That is exciting. So
you know what? It's interactive too. I'm sorry. So I was
going to ask you that. That is so important. So we're going to be able to say, Kenny, hey.
You didn't know. You can say, hey, can you tell the proposal story again? Or you can say whatever, and we're going to see it. You know what I mean? And we'll be able to talk through it. There's some other interactive surprises that we're going to have. It's going to be really, really great.
And tell me the times again.
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the West Coast in California, it's 6 p.m. If you're in New York, DC, it's going to be at 9.
That's
That's
such a good time. It
still
really
alive.
is.
Yeah, I was hoping so. We were like, well, it puts it right in the middle so that either you're having dinner or it's kind of after dinner and you're winding down. So or right before or what have you. So it's I think a win-win for both coasts.
Oh yeah, and especially for those, there are quite a few people that are back to work, believe it or not, and there are
Oh, yeah,
a
you're right.
number that aren't at work. So this allows for those who are working to come home, change, and for some of us who are, in one place every day to get dressed up just to sit in front of your TV. I mean, I get dressed up now to go to the grocery store. I will wear my shoes. I will wear makeup and lipstick, even though you can't see
I
the
love
lipstick.
it. Isn't it crazy though? Okay, then now for me, it's totally different, of course, because I'm like, wow, I put on my mask. It's like I'm Batman or Superman.
Right. They can't see you.
Nobody knows who I am.
Hey. See, that's perfect.
It's crazy.
So
It's
we
really
had the vice president went running a couple of weeks here up I think it was the Lincoln Memorial steps, and she had the hat on and the mask. You couldn't tell who she was. And she got to enjoy the outdoors with her Secret Service, of course.
Right. They're following at a distance, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it really is different. There are times when I feel both ways. Sometimes I feel like I want to see people's faces. I want to see their expression.
Sure.
I want to see their smile. And then there are other times when I have to do something really quick that I'm like, ooh, thank God for this mask.
Listen, when we as ladies realize that, we understand we're the same thing. Put a baseball cap on and the mask, no makeup. Let me get in, get out, get my bread and milk. So Kenny, do you see this is the way for entertainment moving forward with COVID? I mean, finding and doing these special live shows with your fans.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it is definitely a platform that we're going to continue to elevate and we're going to continue to use. I think people are still trying to figure out the revenue portion of it because most people are breaking even with their first show, hopefully, or second show, and then they find themselves beginning to make profit around their third show. Why do I know that? I've been talking to other friends who have been working in this particular space, jazz musicians and R&B musicians, but for their fans, I think it's made everybody feel very connected. Mm-hmm. So it's carried a very high value. So I think it's going to continue. Even if you see people live, it's nothing like being able to say, hey, I'm going to watch this in my living room tomorrow.
I know.
Did you ever watch, like when Anita Baker did her, I remember when A Night of Rapture, I think is what it was called.
Now, I remember hearing that. I did not see it, but I do remember hearing that.
I remember buying a videotape of her and I would play it at the house. And it was like, wow, I'm at the concert because I'm hearing a different interpretation of the songs. I'm hearing the audience and all that. So that's the only thing that's different is you won't hear the crowd, but we still play all the way. When I'm singing virtually, I go all the way into it as if the people are all around me. And I think it definitely will retain value.
So Kenny, I am a person who I am that touchy-feely person, meaning that when I go out and do guest appearances, I do love to embrace people. It has been really tough for me right now not to be able to be that contact person. You just said that when you do your performances virtually, you go all in. How do you make that connection when you can't see their face? You can't see that woman, smiling big at you, or that gentleman, giving you the eye, like, the head nod. How do you make that connection?
You know what? It really is something where I have to get into my own mind and I have to almost picture remembering my last times being in front of the crowd.
Wow.
And really think about that so that the vision comes to me. And that's, that's with anything. I think maybe that's a good way to talk about vision in itself. There's a biblical scripture that I love that talks about without vision, the people perish.
Yes.
Vision gives us hope. It gives us passion. And visualizing is very powerful, but it's something my mother taught me years ago. I remember being 14 years old and my mother said, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I wanted to be a singer. Whoa, you want to be a singer? And she would ask me to visualize and tell her exactly what I saw. She said, oh, you're a singer? Okay. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to tell me, who are you singing in front of? How many people are you singing for?
Wow.
What stage are you on? What clothes are you wearing? What is this? What is she give me? She'd ask me every detail. What color of the clothes? It was like, wow. And I started to do that. So now when I even get on stage, I can visualize that audience, and it recreates a similar feeling. Now, there's nothing like being directly in the moment
Sure.
and having that person like yell out to me, "We love you," or whatever, or sing such and such, you know.
Right.
But in the virtual space, I become the visionary that I was as a child.
Wow.
And I go back and I start to
Full
just
circle.
think, this is what I want it to feel like. So it's almost like I'm projecting my desire in the moment, and say, if I want it to feel like it's a small, intimate group, I began to look around the room as if, yeah, oh, there's somebody here, there's somebody there. And if I wanted to feel like a stadium, I'm like, I look up at the bleachers. I look beyond the camera. The
Wow.
camera can be right in my face, but I'll look up and I look around at the stadium because I've been there before.
Right. Right.
It's more difficult when you've never been there to be a visionary. But because I started as a visionary and I told my mom, I see 10,000 people, I believe that's the reason why I was able to sing for those types of numbers of crowds. And so I take that same experience and mix it up. That was a long answer for you, but
No, it was beautiful.
But the detailed.
I love hearing. I mean, I love hearing that. I just, you never know what, sometimes as parents, we say things and kids don't get it until way later, why we're asking you to do the things that we ask you to do.
Yeah.
But there's a reason and a rhyme to it.
Yes.
So it's interesting hearing you make that full circle. So are you able to still write during COVID?
Wow, that's a good question. I really have not been writing as much, maybe a little here and there. I'll tell you what I did write. I wrote 2 theme songs. I wrote the new divorce court theme song with my buddy Aaron.
That's right. I heard that you did that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And I also wrote a song for, if you know who Frank Thomas is, they call him the Big Hurt. He is a baseball Hall of Famer.
Yes.
He has a talk show, and I did a theme song for his talk show.
I didn't know he had a talk show.
And what I was finding was collaboration is key right now for me.
Okay.
Because I think my wife has expanded my vision to the point where I've done music. I feel great about music. I don't feel like I have anything to prove with music. But I feel like television again, acting and movies, things like that and hosting is a new territory for me. Not that I've never done it before, I have, but I cannot say that I'm known in it as a master. So I feel like, let's go into some other territory and remain creative. I'll never stop music. I have new music that'll be coming probably in the next several months. I'm just now thinking creatively about why should I put out new music? Is the message going to be relevant? What's my point and my purpose? And how do I connect it to the people where they'll even care? Those are all things that I don't care how large your platform gets. I'll never take my audience for granted. I still go back and I say, okay, what makes it worthy of their time and their dollar? So until I hear something that says album, I'll have songs that I've created. I kind of put them aside in a little vault, and I'll come back to them later on. And I really want to marry the television and film and the music together instead of just doing music and just having an album. I'm trying to figure that space out still, but it's coming. It's getting closer and closer. Whereas maybe if I'm acting on a show, I can also take my writing and do something that's specifically in that space, which becomes a different type of challenge, writing for a show.
Yeah, I was going to ask you for a theme. How do you come up? It's not like, this is divorce court. So it's not like it's going to be, I don't know. How do you come up with a theme for something that most people, some people are celebrating, but others are really, grieving the loss of a loved one.
Of a loved one, you're absolutely right. I had to think about what divorce court really was. It has been through the years. And it isn't a show that's really all about divorce. It's more about people who are trying to make a decision whether their relationship is working or not.
Yes.
Divorce court. Sometimes there are catchy titles that we put on shows because people relate to that title right away. That it
Yes.
could be divorce court for people, and maybe it's not divorce court for others. When they leave, it's a matter of, will I stay, will I go, and why? And that's what I love, watching my wife dive into the reasons why a relationship should end. She'll tell you why it should end too. That's a tough one right there.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I've seen women in tears because she says, you realize you're not in a healthy relationship, right? And you need to choose you. And maybe they haven't had someone tell them the truth.
Sure.
And for the first time, they hear someone just completely take the lid off of whatever their issue is and expose it. And they hear it differently for the first time, and it has a huge impact on their lives. So when I approach the show, I just approached it more from a majestic standpoint, that this is a decision-making standpoint. So it has to be something that has an energy to it. So I called my buddy Aaron in. So he began to compose and orchestrate this music. And then I said, I want to put her name in this some kind of way.
Oh, I gotta listen to this now. I gotta make sure I pull it up.
And yeah. So it's like, so we started thinking about lyrics, and I was like, I thought about love and justice and faith. What are those things? So majestically, I said, I don't want to do it like an R&B song, but I come from singing classical music as well. So I said, I'm going to use my classical tone and sing tough love, justice, faith, faith, faith. And all of a sudden you blend it. But when you do the performance and you begin to layer the vocals and all that, it doesn't just sound like a Kenny song. You hear the voice, but it's more like Monk's. You get a melody, and you because it's like Monks have this, it's a peaceful tone, but it is a majestic kind of tone when they're singing. So we blended all that together with an orchestration, and boom, we come up with this new song, and it worked perfectly. The first time everybody heard it, they were like, we got a new theme song.
That is incredible to be able to start off a marriage, a new TV show. As soon as you said the divorce court, I remember that Judge Wapner sound. I mean, it's still in my head right now. And I don't normally watch those shows, but you remember it's that sound, and then you could hear the dun, 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 and then the person would walk through the door. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's 2021. Things change. We get better. We know how to tweak things and make them even better. I'm just really excited for you and your wife. We are about to be at the top of the hour with the show, and I know that you and your incredible crew who just ran out the room before we started the show, you guys have got to get back to practicing and doing some things. I want to give people an opportunity one more time to hear about an evening of love. Where to go is with you, singer-songwriter Kenny Lattimore, and your incredibly talented, gifted wife, Judge Faith Jenkins. Where can they catch and get the details?
Please visit KennyLattimore.com. Very easy. And if you click on KennyLattimore.com, you're going to see everything about an evening of love. Or you can go to JudgeFaithJenkins.com. And all the information is there. It's a couple of simple clicks, and you will be sent a link where you can watch the show live or video on demand for the rest of the weekend.
And Kenny, tell us 3 things we can expect. Will there be singing? Will there be dancing? Will there be a DJ? What can we expect?
There's going to be a DJ that's going to open, so you'll get a chance to dance and enjoy and celebrate love, some of your favorite love songs. Then you get to hear some of my songs from my catalog. You get to have great conversation with Judge Faith. You get to see some things that are related to our wedding, and hear some of our love story. You get a chance to talk to us because it's totally interactive while we are doing the show. So it's going to be very, very beautiful. And there's going to be something really special at the end of the show too that will be interactive that you can participate in.
I love it. Again, Kenny Lattimore, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to having your wife, Judge Jenkins, on the show. Both of you guys together. We definitely look forward to that. And of course, your fans and others who look forward to supporting tomorrow's evening of love. We definitely want to thank you for your time and breaking away, because I know it's been crazy this week as you guys work to perfect tomorrow's big day and evening of love. I really want to thank you. And I also want to thank Concert Connect talent booking agency as well. So
Yes.
again, Kenny, thank you so much. We send so much love to you and your wife. Well,
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this week's show. Until next week, everyone, God bless and goodbye.
Blessings.